Good day, everyone. I am Lauren Gel as Ochavo.
And I'm Christine Landayan.
So we are going to do a pairwise activity in relation to the topic authentic assessment of the affective domain. I am going to ask questions first because there are 2 rounds, then Christine will be next. But how are you right now, Christine?
So I am feeling fine. So I am excited to answer the questions that was already provided by our instructor.
In the remember question, first, what are some examples of authentic assessment tools for the affective domain?
Well, partner, I believe that self-assessment rubrics, observational checklists, reflective journals, peer and self-evaluation, interviews, portfolio skills and surveys, narrative assessment group discussions and role plays, and more are some of the examples of authentic assessment tools for the affective domain.
So in the understand question, why is it essential to distinguish between quantitative and qualitative data when interpreting performance assessment in the affective domain?
Well, I believe that distinguishing between qualitative and quantitative data is essential when interpreting performance assessment in the affective domain because it allows for a comprehensive understanding of students' emotional and social development. Qualitative data such as numerical ratings or scores can offer a standardized and measurable perspective on affective competencies, while qualitative data captures rich descriptions and narratives that offers deeper insights into students' experiences and perspectives.
Now I understand its essentiality.
Yes, so what's the next question?
So the next question is in the apply question. How would you compare data from different sources such as self-assessments, peer assessments, and teacher observations to identify patterns and trends in affective development?
Well, to compare data from different sources in order to identify patterns and trends in affective development, I believe that it is important to analyze the data collectively. I would start by examining individual data sets such as self-assessments, peer assessments, and teacher observation to understand the unique perspectives they offer. Second, I will look for common themes, recurring feedbacks, or areas of convergence across the different sources. Additionally, I will consider the context in which the assessments were conducted, as this can influence the observation and feedback provided. So by integrating this, I believe that I can get a holistic view of students' affective development.
In the analyze question, what steps would you take to identify areas of strength and growth in students' affective competencies based on assessment data?
Well, to identify areas of strengths and growth in students' affective competencies based on assessment data, I would analyze the data to identify recurring patterns or themes. I would also look for evidence of consistent positive behavior or attitude as areas of strengths and areas where improvement is needed based on my identified challenges. So finally, I will develop targeted interventions or strategies to support students' growth in the specific areas, such as providing additional resources, designing relevant learning experiences, or offering personalized instruction and support.
In the evaluate question, how can the interpretation of performance assessment data in the affective domain be used to inform instructional adjustments and support students' affective development?
While the interpretation of performance assessment data in the affective domain can be used to inform instructional adjustments and support students' affective domains in several ways. So, firstly, it helps educators identify specific areas where students may need additional support or guidance, allowing for targeted interventions to be implemented. Lastly, it provides insights into students' learning preferences, motivation, and emotional responses, enabling teachers to tailor instructional strategies to better engage and support students' affective development.
This is the last question. In the create question, what strategies would you recommend for setting SMART goals with students to guide their improvement in the affective domain based on assessment data?
Well, for me, I believe that when setting SMART goals with students to guide their improvement in the affective domain based on assessment data, it is important to involve students in the goal setting process. I will begin by reviewing an assessment data together and discussing areas of strengths and growth. I will also encourage students to reflect on their own experiences and identify specific areas that they would like to improve. Then collaboratively define SMART goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Then I will break down the goals into smaller milestones or actions, steps to make progress more manageable. And moreover, I will regularly monitor and review progress towards the goal, providing feedback and support along the way to my students.
Thank you, Christine. Your answers were all great. Now, this is the second round when or where Christine will be asking me questions and I will be also answering her questions.
So thank you so much for all of those questions, Laurangel. So I really appreciate and love your questions. So now I will be the one asking you a set of questions. Our first question is the remember question. So the question is, what are some examples of affective targets integral to authentic assessment in the affective domain?
So some examples of affective targets integral to authentic assessment in the affective domain are attitudes, which refers to a student's positive or negative feelings and evaluations toward a particular subject and topic or aspect of learning. Interests, which refers to the topic or subjects that captive a student's curiosity and attention. Motivation, this refers to a student's drive to engage in learning activities and pursue academic goals. Values, which refers to deeply held beliefs and principles that guide a student's decisions and behaviors. Self-concept refers to a student's perception of themselves as a learner. Locus of control refers to whether a student believes that outcomes are within their control, or internal locus of control, or determined by external factors. Self-efficacy refers to a student's belief in their capability to perform specific tasks or achieve particular goals. Anxiety represents the emotional state of unease, worry, or fear that can hinder a student's performance. Creativity assesses a student's ability to think divergently, generate original ideas, and solve problems in innovative ways. And epistemological beliefs concern a student's beliefs about knowledge, including how it is acquired, evaluated, and justified.
Okay, so thank you so much. The next question is, how do affective targets like attitudes, interests, motivation, values, and self-concept relates to the concept of authentic assessment in education?
They are actually strongly related to the idea of authentic assessment in education, since authentic assessment, there are techniques seek to record students' emotional and attitudinal reactions to their learning experiences. So these techniques enable teachers to adapt their instruction to meet the emotional and attitudinal requirements of their students by giving them insights into changes in attitudes, interests, and motivation.
So next is the apply question. So in what way can authentic assessment methods be used to assess affective targets such as a locus of control, self-efficacy, and anxiety?
So when evaluating affective targets like locus of control, self-efficacy, and anxiety, authentic assessment approaches including self-reflection and journaling, observations, and scenario-based evaluations can be used. Students can express their sense of control and self-efficacy through self-reflection and journals and scenario-based examinations can show how anxious they are in response to particular circumstances.
So the fourth question is, how can the selection and development of appropriate, effective assessment methods be influenced by factors like learning objectives, learner age, and cultural sensitivity?
So, learning objectives, learner age, and cultural sensitivity are all aspects that affect the development and selection of acceptable, effective assessment methods. Learning objectives direct how assessment methods should be aligned. Learner age defines how age-appropriate a method should be. And cultural sensitivity ensures that assessments are pertinent to students' cultural backgrounds.
So the fifth question is, why are emotional intelligence assessments, collaboration and teamwork assessments, and creativity and innovation assessments crucial in evaluating a student's holistic development?
Because they evaluate the abilities and skills required for success in the 21st century. Tests of emotional intelligence, collaboration and teamwork, creativity and invention are critical in assessing a student's overall development. Moreover, collaboration and teamwork are crucial in the modern workplace, while creativity and invention foster problem solving and flexibility. In addition, emotional intelligence promotes social and emotional well-being.
So the last question is the create questions. What strategies would you recommend for educators to assess a student's resilience and adaptability effectively in the context of 21st century skills development?
So, in order to evaluate students' resilience and adaptability in the context of developing 21st century skills, I would advise educators to use scenario-based assessments that simulate difficult situations and determine how students respond, placing an emphasis on their capacity to adapt and recover from difficulties.
Well, thank you very much, Laurel. I learned so much from you.
I also learned so much from you, Christine. Thank you.
So that's the end of our pairwise activities. Thank you so much for watching.